I am the father of a 1-year-old toddler. Recently she started teething, as her molars have started to come in. First it was the top ones for about a week, then we had a week's break, and now the bottom ones are coming in. It's clearly causing my daughter a lot of pain, especially at night. Before she was a good sleeper, but now it's been rough. She's been waking up around 1 a.m. and then 3 a.m. daily, screaming with her little fingers in her mouth. My wife and I have tried comforting her, bringing her into our bed. She sleeps in our room anyway, and her crib is next to our bed, but normally she likes to sleep cuddled up when she's uncomfortable. We've even given her baby Motrin to help with the pain, but she still screams for about 10-20 minutes each time until we are able to settle her. It's shrill and it sucks, but there's not much we can do beyond what we are already doing. We live on the ground floor of a new condo building. It's made of heavy concrete and decently soundproofed, but not perfect. Above us lives a single woman in her late 20s/early 30s. This is an expensive part of town in a new building, so we can assume she's decently moneyed. She also keeps her balcony door open all day and night that faces into our courtyard. She has been punishing us during the day by blasting loud music directly into our unit by putting a stereo next to her balcony. We are on the ground floor and have a fully enclosed courtyard, so it vibrates around. She's got great music taste, and my daughter will dance to it all day long. So while my wife hates her intention, I think it's worked out just fine. Until now. Last night she came barging down at 3 a.m. and rang our bell 4 times while we were trying to settle our daughter. Motrin works for about 8 hours, so by 3 a.m. we have to give her another dose and wait through the cries, cradling her for 15-20 minutes for it to kick in again. My wife, a strong-tempered petite woman, amplified by her first year of motherhood, wanted to go fight her then and there, but I said let's just concentrate on settling the baby and ignore her. I also didn't want to make the baby any more upset than she already was. So yeah, I just let her fume outside my door at 3 a.m. Am I the idiot? Update. I delivered a small care package to her door with a long letter and a bottle of wine and chocolates. She was not home, so I put it next to the door. We are only here for a couple of months temp rental until we finish construction, but I'd rather offer an olive branch than see all the pettiness continue. Yes, it sucks to be woken up. Yes, it's a shared building. Yes, people throw parties here until 3 a.m. on the weekends. Yes, babies cry and we try our best. For those who live in very big cities, mine has 22 million, this is what you experience. I'm listening to loud mariachi music from the neighbour across the way right now. Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Everyone sucks here, but you suck more. Your neighbour sucks for how she seems to have handled the problem. If her music is directed at you, then she's taking the passive-aggressive route, and that's petty. However, I can understand why she's so upset. She doesn't have children, and likely needs to rest before work like most other people in existence. If her sleep is being affected every night, I'd be butthurt too. That being said, you are a bigger AH, firstly for not staying ahead of your child's pain. If this is a developmental phase she's been going through for some time now, you should be giving her pain meds before she gets to a level that continues to bother your neighbourhood. Secondly, you're an AH for your daddy's money comment. If it takes so much money to live in the building, so much so that a single woman could not possibly be able to afford it on her own without daddy's help, maybe you and your wife should think about moving. You know, since you're so well off and can afford such an expensive apartment. It sounds like you can afford to not be an AH, you just don't want to because you've made the choice to have a kid, and now everyone must suffer along with you and your horrible wife. Wanting to throw down with the neighbour because your screaming child is disrupting her sleep is pure trash behaviour. Do better, you're raising a child. Comment 2. Everyone sucks here, she could be more understanding, and the stereo thing is stupid and childish. But as a person without kids, why should she be awakened because your child is teething? It is not her fault, but you seem to have no sympathy for her position. You even go so low as to suggest her apartment is paid for by her daddy instead of her, which seems like a low-grade passive-aggressive insult. I am not suggesting that you should somehow force your child to stop crying, nor am I suggesting that you are doing anything wrong. Teething is a normal part of child development. But that does mean your choice to have a child should infringe on other people's choice to get a good night's sleep. Why not go knock on her door and apologise for the nighttime crying? In fact, I would knock on all your neighbours' doors and apologise. Your unit started this, so take responsibility for it. Comment 3. Everyone sucks here. You comments about her are awful, especially that Daddy is paying her way. Her response with the loud music is childish. Is there some reason why you can't move the doses of Motrin so that it works all night? Maybe a dose at 11 p.m. That would allow all of you to get a much-needed night's sleep. Also, I think they make cold teething rings to help with pain. Try harder. For you, your child and your neighbour. Now for the update. You won't believe what's happened since my last post. Seriously, strap in because these past 2 weeks have been a roller coaster. First off, the care package I left for my upstairs neighbour seemed to work wonders. Or so I thought. The day after I left it, I found a note slid under my door. It was an apology from the neighbour for overreacting to the baby's crying and the late-night bell-ringing incident. They even mentioned they were grateful for the wine and chocolates and suggested we should meet to discuss schedules and noise levels. I was over the moon thinking we could finally have some peace. We arranged a meeting at a local coffee shop, and it started out cordially. The neighbour, let's call them Alex, admitted to dealing with stress from work and personal life, which had made them less tolerant of any additional noise. I empathised and explained the challenges of teething and having a baby. We both agreed to try to be more understanding of each other's situations. Just when I thought we were turning a new leaf, reality hit us like a ton of bricks. The very next night, things took a turn for the worse. At around midnight, our ceiling started leaking. I rushed upstairs to let Alex know, only to find water pouring into their apartment from the unit above. Turns out the occupant above Alex had a major pipe burst, and the water had been leaking downward, affecting several units. It was pandemonium. The building's maintenance crew was called. Residents were scrambling with buckets and towels, and amidst all this chaos my baby was terrified, crying louder than ever. But here's the jaw-dropper. The crisis unexpectedly pulled our little community together. Alex, who had just been at odds with us, teamed up with me to help the older resident whose pipe had burst. We spent hours into the early morning clearing water, moving furniture, and doing what we could to mitigate the damage. This disaster led to an impromptu residents' meeting in the lobby where everyone vented but also acknowledged that we'd all been a bit wrapped up in our own worlds. There was a collective realization that perhaps we needed to communicate better and help each other out. The building management was immensely apologetic and promised to renovate the affected units. They also offered temporary accommodations for those severely impacted. Alex, whose apartment was uninhabitable for the time being, was surprisingly chill about the whole situation. After seeing the ordeal with the baby, they even joked that a hotel might be a quieter place for them for a while. Since then, the vibe in the building has changed. People are checking in on each other, and there's talk of setting up a residents' committee to address communal concerns. Oh, and the baby? She finally cut that troublesome tooth and has been sleeping a little better. In a weird twist of fate, it took a disaster to bring us all together. I'm not saying I want another burst pipe in the building, but I'm grateful for the newfound sense of community it's brought about. Life in the big city, right? Now for the comments. Comment 1. Not the idiot. It's commendable how you and your upstairs neighbour were able to set aside your previous tension in the face of an emergency to help your fellow residents. This shows maturity and the ability to prioritise the well-being of the community over personal grievances. It's also great that this situation has led to better communication and promises for improvement from the building management. Furthermore, your patience with your baby's teething process displays understanding that some life situations, like a child's discomfort, are beyond anyone's control and require empathy rather than frustration. This story is a prime example of how adversity can bring people together and create a stronger sense of community. Well done for being a part of that positive change. Comment 2. Not the idiot. Your story highlights the importance of neighbours working together in times of crisis, which is a testament to your character and to the resilience of your community. The proactive approach taken by you and your neighbour to assist others during the flooding goes above and beyond what is typically expected of residents, showing a commendable level of civic responsibility. It's also a reminder that goodwill can lead to positive outcomes, like the commitment from the building management to carry out renovations and provide temporary accommodations, a significant step towards improving living conditions for everyone involved. Lastly, the personal relief you must feel with your baby's situation improving is a gentle reminder that sometimes the resolution of smaller domestic issues can also contribute to a more peaceful home environment, further contributing to the overall harmony in your building. Comment 3. Not the idiot. The effort you've shown in collaborating with your neighbour during an unexpected crisis like a burst pipe is a testament to your ability to adapt and work for the common good. It's inspiring to see how such a chaotic event can become a catalyst for strengthening neighbourhood ties and improving communication channels. The fact that the building management has promised to undertake renovations and provide temporary accommodations is a significant victory for the residents and can be attributed to the unity and collective voice that you helped to foster. Additionally, your understanding of your baby's teething issues as a natural process that affects the well-being of your household is further proof of your compassionate and rational approach to personal and community challenges. Your story is a heartening example of how solidarity and mutual support in times of need can lead to lasting positive change in a community. Now, for the next story. My husband and I have been married for 23 years. I've always had kind of an iffy relationship with my sister-in-law because she's made it known for years that she wishes my husband married his college girlfriend and not me. Over the years, we got to the point where I wouldn't call us super close, but we were friendly enough to text and would hang out alone when one of us visited the other. Last year, my father-in-law got very sick and needed specialised care. My husband wanted him to live with us during his treatment and during recovery, and I agreed. My sister-in-law made it clear she did not want him at her house. I was able to go part-time at work during this time, so by nature I became the primary caregiver. It wasn't fun, but I did care for my father-in-law and was happy that he and my husband had time together. On the other hand, my in-laws, especially my sister-in-law, became a problem. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law were very much in denial when it came to his health. When my father-in-law had appointments, I would keep everyone informed, mostly via a text chain because it was easier, and mostly stayed out of decision-making because he's not my father, and I wanted to respect that. My sister-in-law and brother-in-law started treating me like hired help. For example, when my father-in-law needed to go to a skilled rehab facility after a stay in the hospital, I ran around touring facilities and spent hours on the phone. When I let everyone know my findings, my sister-in-law said, "We will discuss as a family and get back to you." Excuse me, I guess I'm not family. Instances like this happened more and more, and neither my brother-in-law nor sister-in-law made any effort to come see their dying father. When I would occasionally express my feelings to my sister-in-law, she said, "This doesn't concern you. Go get your nails done or something." Eventually, my father-in-law passed away and I cut off all contact with my in-laws. There was no blowout. I just stopped responding to the group chat and stopped actively trying to be in their lives. I made my husband start shopping for birthday gifts, etc., for them and told him to leave my name off the cards. My husband wasn't thrilled about the rift, but understood where I was coming from. I told him many times that he can have whatever relationship he wants with them. Just leave me out of it. A few weeks ago, my sister-in-law sent me a text apologising for everything because she was in denial about my father-in-law and she hopes I'm doing fabulous. I sent her a message back acknowledging her apology and thanking her for the time and effort she put into reflecting on the situation, but didn't initiate further conversation. Now, my sister-in-law wants to come to visit and stay with us for a few days. I told my husband she's welcome to stay, but I will be going to see my best friend during that time. My husband was taken aback and said he understands, but it really upsets him that I want nothing to do with her, and it's not realistic for me to avoid her forever. I really do not want anything to do with people who don't consider me family. So, am I the jerk? Now for a few comments before the update. Comment 1. Not the idiot. There's a very high probability that sister-in-law only apologised because she wanted to come visit and/or want something else from you and your husband. It's smart of you to leave for her visit, but also have a conversation with your husband about not making any commitments to his sister without discussing it with you first. He shouldn't agree to house sister-in-law for an extended length of time. Lend her money, co-sign for any purchases, donate an organ, take in a child, or anything along those lines without you, and he having some serious conversations. In fact, if his sister asks for anything at all, his response should be that you and he will discuss it, and he'll get back to her in a couple of weeks with an answer. Comment 2. Not the idiot. A text apology for her shorty-teety behaviour. Just no. She doesn't get to text sorry and magically fix your relationship. You acknowledged her apology. You didn't say, "No problem, we're besties again now." If she wants to make amends, she can take you out to lunch if you're receptive and give you the fulsome apology you deserve. And if you're not receptive, she's just out of luck. Enjoy your visit with your friend. Comment 3. My husband was taken aback and said he understands, but it really upsets him that I want nothing to do with her, and it's not realistic for me to avoid her forever. No, it is realistic to avoid her. People do it all the time. There is no rule that you have to spend time with terrible people. Cut her out, take care of yourself, and enjoy seeing your best friend. Not the idiot. Now for the update. After I avoided my sister-in-law's visit, things between my husband and me became tense. It was like walking on eggshells covered in landmines. We tried to talk it out, but it always circled back to family obligations, and I wasn't having any of it. So we were at this stalemate when the universe decided to throw us a curveball. Out of the blue, my brother-in-law calls and he's crying. I mean full-on sobbing, which is about as common as a unicorn sighting. He's at the hospital because my sister-in-law had an accident, a serious one. She slipped in the shower, hit her head and was in a coma. I was in shock. Despite everything, I didn't wish her harm. My husband was a mess, and honestly, I was too in a way. We rushed to the hospital where the doctors said the next 48 hours were critical. I saw her there, hooked to machines, and all our petty squabbles felt so trivial. While we were waiting for any kind of news, I found myself alone with her in the room. It was awkward, even with her unconscious. I didn't say anything groundbreaking, just a simple, "You better wake up, you've caused enough drama." And she did wake up. 2 days later, she opened her eyes. The doctors said it was a miracle considering the swelling and the impact. Recovery was going to be long, but she was alive and likely to regain most of her functions with rehabilitation. During those hospital visits, something changed. Maybe it was the Grim Reaper knocking a bit too loudly, but my husband and I started talking. Really talking. He admitted he'd been blind to how his sister's behaviour affected me, and I admitted I could have been more patient at times. But here's the jaw-dropper. When my sister-in-law was finally well enough to talk, she was different. I don't know if it was the near-death experience or the head injury, but she was humble. She actually apologised. A real apology recognising specific incidents where she had wronged me. She said she had a lot of time to think while she was in and out of consciousness about what she would have left behind, and she regretted how she treated me the most. I'm cautious. People don't change overnight, but it seems like she's trying. My husband and I are in a better place. We're even considering couples counselling to work through our communication issues. As for my sister-in-law, I've agreed to a fresh start. Not forgiveness, not yet, but a chance to see if she's sincere. So yeah, 2 weeks of fear, reflection and tentative healing. Life is unpredictable and maybe, just maybe, it's not about holding on to grudges but knowing when to give second chances. Now for the comments. Comment 1, not the idiot. It's completely understandable to have reservations about welcoming someone back into your life after a period of tension and discomfort. However, your actions show a level of compassion and empathy that is commendable. You put aside your differences in a time of crisis and showed up at the hospital, providing support not just for your sister-in-law, but for your husband as well. It's often in these moments of vulnerability that we find the strength to forgive and move forward. Your willingness to give your sister-in-law a second chance after she awoke from the coma and apologised is a testament to your character. It's not easy to let go of past grievances, but doing so can be incredibly healing for all parties involved. The fact that this experience has improved communication between you and your husband is another positive outcome. It's important to recognise that people can change and that offering forgiveness can lead to growth and improved relationships. Furthermore, your story illustrates the impact of positive actions and words. While it may seem like a small gesture, telling your sister-in-law to wake up likely provided comfort and a sense of presence that could have contributed to her recovery. It's a reminder that our actions, no matter how small, can have significant effects on others' lives. Comment 2, not the idiot. Your hesitance to initiate contact with your sister-in-law after a period of avoidance is a natural response to protect your emotional well-being. It's important for individuals to set boundaries and take steps to ensure their own peace of mind. However, you displayed a great deal of maturity by setting aside those feelings to be there for your family during a crisis. Additionally, the fact that you are giving your sister-in-law a chance to redeem herself after her apology speaks volumes about your ability to value personal growth and reconciliation over holding on to past conflicts. It's never easy to rebuild trust, but it is an essential component of healing and forging stronger bonds. The lesson of second chances and forgiveness that you've taken from this experience is a powerful one. It's a reminder that life is unpredictable and that relationships can be repaired if both sides are willing to put in the effort. Your story serves as an example that with understanding and open communication, it's possible to transform a difficult relationship into a more positive one. Comment 3, not the idiot. After experiencing tension in a family relationship, it's natural to need time and space to work through those feelings. You demonstrated a high level of responsibility and care by rushing to the hospital despite the previous avoidance, showing that you prioritize family unity in times of emergency. This action alone indicates that you value the family bond and are willing to step up when it truly matters. Your decision to talk to your sister-in-law during her vulnerable state in a coma was a kind-hearted gesture of hope. The miraculous timing of her awakening could have been a coincidence, but it's also possible that your presence and encouragement played a role in her recovery process. This shows the power of positive reinforcement and emotional support in healing. By accepting her apology and agreeing to move forward, you are fostering an environment where personal growth is encouraged and mistakes are not the end of a relationship. This not only benefits your relationship with your sister-in-law, but also sets a positive example for other family members about the value of forgiveness and the potential for change. Your experience has highlighted the significance of open-mindedness and the capacity for individuals to evolve, which can lead to more harmonious family dynamics. If you like this video, you'll probably like these too. Also, while you're here, please consider subscribing. It's your support that keeps this channel alive and allows me to make better and longer videos. Have a great day.